Here we go. Let's see. Yes, we're recording. All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Power of Motherhood, Chapter 6. Mothers are exalted. And the opening scripture for this is, who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. Proverbs 31:10. God says that godly mothers are worth more than precious jewels. And above rubies, reader shared the following incident with me. Our insurance agent came to our home to review our insurance policies and future financial needs. At one point, he turned to me and said, should your husband graduate or die before you do, here's the total amount you will need to continue in your present lifestyle, about $80,000. He then turned to my husband and said, should your wife die before you do, here's the total amount you will need, about $150,000. Obviously, this was written a long time ago. We were both stunned at the large amount he would need to replace me. Approximately $145,000 of the $150,000 would be for child and home care fund. This estimate was made 4 years ago plus a lot of years ago, when we only had one child. Presently, we have 3 children. Certainly, the amount needed would increase as our family increases. So that's actually really funny that was brought up. I've heard of people with life insurance through their companies at work, and usually it's the father, the husband, who has like I don't know, if he dies, the wife gets like 2 or 3 years of salary or something like that. And if the wife dies, it's like $10,000. It's like, you can bury her.
Yes, that's how Nick has it set up. I think he has it set up so if he dies, I get like $1 million or something. I don't know how that's broken up, okay? But like if I die, he only gets like, I don't even know if it's like maybe like 200,000 or something. So it's nothing. So I'm just like, man, you really think that you're just gonna be able to carry on, huh? Good to know.
Doesn't that just show how backwards society is? Because it would take a lot of money to replace either one of us. Who's going to sit at home with these children all day?
Yeah. I mean, even if you put them in school, you still need a maid, a cook, babysitter. At the very least.
At minimum.
Yeah.
Who's going to do the laundry?
Well, the maid. But that costs extra. They don't do that normally.
Who's going to meal prep and grocery shop and
good luck with that.
Help with homework if you did throw them into public school.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you. What struck me as it says, godly mothers are worth more than precious jewels, because I feel like it would be very easy for me to be like, oh, I'm worth so much and I'm so great and you're just so lucky to have me. You know what I mean? And like go to my head, and I have to remember like I'm only of worth because I do these godly things, which means I'm not thinking of those things that want to blow my head up. You know? There's some jewels out there that are more precious than rubies or diamonds, but that are really ugly, and so nobody wants them.
Yeah, well, that's true. You call those double baggers.
There you go.
But yeah, I would imagine that, I mean, we could probably all think of examples, maybe not specific examples, but stuff we've read in the newspaper or whatever, where we learn about these mothers who don't take their role seriously. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for us to believe that maybe those children would be better off with a different mom.
Yeah.
Which at the core of my being, I actually never think that's true, even when it's a terrible mother. But, you know, if the mother's not doing her job, you know, these kids are missing out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've had those thoughts sometimes, like, oh man. I was just saying that the other day. It wasn't in regards to motherhood so much as homeschooling. I've realized that if I'm going to keep trying to stay on pace with public school, meaning you're in 4th grade, and here's what you should be doing for 4th grade, and X, Y, and Z, and I want to hit these things because that's what your peers are doing in the public school that I'm not sending you to, then I should just send you there because they're a lot more pleasant. Because I'm a nut job because I'm trying to keep up with this standard that I don't even want. Like, I've had this whole, it's ridiculous, but I mean, I think that could be the same for
So,
mothers, you know? If you keep trying to push your kids off and try to act like you're not a mom, but you are a mom, you know? Am I making any sense there?
so regarding homeschooling, not that that's really the topic, but we'll sidebar.
Part of my
I was
mother.
going to say, okay, so, and Jacob's, yeah, you're at this age, like you're crazy busy, it's hard to keep up, you know, you've got more than one kid doing stuff now, like it's not easy anymore. It's not a little cakewalk where you get to watch a little video and learn to read cat, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So at some point, and maybe at many points throughout our journeys, we have to kind of step back and reassess why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
What does it even mean to be educated? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
And how are you going to get there?
Right.
And some of us really feel strongly about needing to, like you said, keep up with whatever the public school's doing in your area. Sometimes it's our husbands who think that, you know, who think, well, you have to do this thing because Johnny over there did it or whatever. But I think when most of us think through these questions, that's actually never the answer. Like, that's actually the opposite of the goal of homeschooling.
Yeah. But it just reminded me of, like, motherhood, too. You know, we put all this ridiculous pressure on ourselves to try and still have our own outside life and outside identity. And we're trying to keep up with all these other people who don't have the same goals that we do, you know. As believers, it's just different. But that's hard. Like, you can know that, but you're not actually doing that yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How'd you like the scripture in Ezekiel that she shared?
I don't know. It was kind of, when I read the rest of it, I was like, oh, that's a little scary.
Well, obviously okay, so what this was actually about is Israel, the chosen people, and you know, God's basically saying, hey, I gave you all of this awesome stuff. I gave you this land. I gave you all of these things. I planted you here to do your awesomeness. And then they kind of crapped on it. They didn't do it. And then it says they were plucked up in fury, cast down to the ground, you know, dried up her fruit, broke and withered, fire consumed them. Now you're planted in the wilderness. And she used this allegory regarding some other thing completely, and she applied it to motherhood. And I like that. I like that because it's true. We have to take our job seriously. Who's going to raise our kids if we don't? Who's going to teach them right and wrong if we don't? Well, the world is. I don't want them looking like the world.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. That's no pressure. No pressure.
The big letters on the next page say, the world cannot do without mothers. When mothers abdicate their role, they lay down their power to lead the nation in God's ways. Do not be ashamed. I know that you constantly feel pressure from society to make you feel that you are not accomplishing much in your home, but this is deceitful brainwashing. You are in the highest vocation that God has given to women. You are in the perfect will of God. Do not try to get out of it. Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Do not listen to the jargon of the humanists. It will lead you down a wrong path. Lift your head high the next time you go to the mall with your little children. Oh, who does that? Lift up your head, put a smile on your face, and be proud to tell the world that you are a full-time mother. And so the whole concept of this chapter is that we're worth a lot. We're worth a lot. It's easy to think that we're not. God has given us this role. He wants us to really do great at it. And he wants us to be this beacon of light regarding what motherhood looks like and what a family should look like, because it's so rare.
It really is, probably because it's so freaking hard to remember when everywhere you turn tells you the opposite. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Even from family, you know, well, maybe even especially from family, you hear things like, oh, well, you have time to do this project for me because, you know, you're just at home.
Right.
I'm like,
oh, what do you do all day?
Oh, you're right. I have all the time to do that for you because I'm just at home. I mean, I'm just here sitting around, like on my duff, waiting for everybody to cook for me and do these things for me. Yeah, it's just me. I'm just at home. I'm just home.
Exactly.
But you know, but when we give our daily list, you know, I kind of give Dave a list every day of, he asked me, what are you doing today? And, you know, today my list was, well, I have to do the Zoom meeting. We got to do our study group online, which that seems frivolous, right? And I've got the in-house group tonight. And then I was like, and we're going to do some grammar and some math. That doesn't seem so hard. And I'm going to do laundry. And that really is kind of the majority of my list.
Yeah.
And so on the face of it, it really doesn't, it does kind of sound like we're just home because nobody knows what that actually entails.
Yeah, until like you're out for the day and you're like, oh yeah, you know, the kids just have a math lesson to do and they know what's up, and you come home and it's chaos and they're in front of the TV and the house is a disaster and you're like, well, what happened? They're like, oh, well, you know, I don't know. Like, yeah, exactly. It's not easy. Not easy.
All right, let's do the questions. Why do you think, okay, now this was kind of a trick question, right? Why do you think feminists seek to destroy motherhood if they think it is so insignificant? If you remember me posting this on my Facebook a couple of weeks ago?
I think so.
So
I have a hard time. Maybe it's just because of the time frame I grew up in. Maybe I don't recognize feminism as much as somebody else would. Like, I don't know. Like, what are they intentionally trying to destroy motherhood? I don't pay attention to them, so I don't know. You know who's trying to destroy motherhood? My own freaking head. So if they did that, then okay, then I can understand. But
well, I think the word feminism has changed over the years. I think now it's more viewed as that they want to be equal with the men. Okay. And it's all about equality. Like, they want equal pay and they want to be treated equally. And okay, I think that's kind of
destroy motherhood.
Well, I think originally
already don't even care about motherhood.
So. Well, listen, I think that when she originally wrote this thing here
back in the day,
I do think that one of the huge, more major points of feminism was stuff that centered around the workplace. And these women were purposely not having a family. They were purposely not getting married. Or if they were getting married, they were purposely not having children. And if they were having children, they were purposely like sending them to daycare and getting a nanny immediately because what they viewed as important was being equal with the men as far as their career was concerned. And I think that's really what her question's asking here, is pointing to that facet of feminism. Because you're right, I don't think that
It's
all...
normal for me now, because I feel like there's plenty of people who just don't want to have kids, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, you're not telling me not to have children, so.
Right, correct.
Okay, so.
So let's change the question then. Let's say, does anybody seek to bring down the role of motherhood if they think it's so stupid?
I don't know. I feel like those people do it. I feel like whenever I get that from people, it's usually out of ignorance. Like they just think that, you know, you can't be fulfilled just being a mom. Like they want you to be happy, and to be happy, you need to go be doing your own thing, you know, and spending all this money to go to college and then have a baby and then just want to be home with your baby because it's kind of what we're ingrained to want.
Right. I also think that there's some people out there who know that the power of the future of society is in the raising of children. And I think that they do know how important it is. And maybe they're just evil and they don't want society to be great.
Could be. I just haven't met him or come across it because
I bet you have.
Puke.
I bet you have. I bet you have.
Well, then they didn't stick around long because I couldn't be friends with somebody who was just constantly trying to convince me to do something else. Like,
no, I think people like that are sneakier about it. Like, I don't think they would wear it on their sleeve. I think you'd really have to read between the lines.
Maybe.
Okay, list the areas of life and society that are weakened when mothers abdicate their role.
Okay, so say that for me in English.
What is not going to go as it should when mothers don't do their jobs? How are your children going to suffer if you don't do your job, Sherry?
They're gonna, I don't.
Not only today, but when they're adults.
They're not gonna have a good, you know, sense of self-worth. I don't know. They're gonna just wander and be lost, I feel like, and not really know right from wrong. I mean, I'm sure they will to an extent, but
I think it all comes down to building a solid foundation for the kids. And because we are stay-at-home moms, we really, in a way, kind of do have time for leisure, in the sense that we can bring everybody to the living room every morning and have a conversation about something.
Yeah.
And Deuteronomy 6, I always think of that because that's the place where we're mandated. Do you know Deuteronomy 6 off the top of your head?
Isn't that the one where it's talking about to talk about God like all throughout the day?
Yeah, exactly. So this is
read it for you if you want. I have my Bible app.
I've got it right here. Now this is the commandment, statutes and the rules that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you may do them in the land to which you are going over to possess it, that you may fear the Lord your God and your son son's son by keeping all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you all the days of your life, and that your days may be long. Hear therefore, and be careful to do them, that it may go well with you, and that you may multiply greatly. as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you in the land flowing with milk and honey. Here we go. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So I often think of this passage because as stay-at-home mothers, in one way, we are the only people who have the time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it says right here to do it right. It's all the time. It's all throughout the day. It's at breakfast. It's at the lunch table. It's in between lessons. It's as the children bicker. It's as they're folding laundry. It's all through the day. And if we don't do these things and teach our children all through the day, they're not going to know it. These are the kids this is why we see such a huge amount of percentage of kids who graduate high school and then never go to church again. Those kids didn't get that at home.
Right. Yeah.
So,
they talked the talk, but they weren't walking the walk.
Right. And which falls on our shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that it all falls on our shoulders. I mean, our kids are who they are. They're going to, God's made them what they're going to be already.
Yeah.
And so sometimes moms who do the very best job they can, sometimes those children aren't walking. But, gosh, if we don't do our job, what chance do they have?
Yeah.
All right, 2 more. When you are out in public, this is going to be a good one for you. In what ways can you show to an unbelieving world that you are proud to be a mother?
By taking them out in public. Do you know how many moms that I know who do not go grocery shopping with their children because they feel like they can't? Like, I can't bother, these people in the grocery store. Like, if you won't even take them to the grocery store with you, well, no wonder why everyone thinks being a mom is crazy, or like the ones who like tag team, like, you go to practice this week and we can't all go as a family. Like, I don't know, like, do things with your kids. Take them on, like, when you're going to go on a vacation to Hawaii, you take your baby with you because you're proud to be a mom, even if you're the weird one, like, people need to see that you can enjoy your children and it's not, you're not dragging them through the store and screaming the whole time. I mean,
Hopefully
you just, make a pit stop at the bathroom.
So don't leave them on the hooks in the basement while you run your errands.
Right. Take them with you. Go do things. And I don't know how many times. Oh, so when I went to the courthouse a couple of weeks ago for that bill that came up that we were going to in opposition of. Yep. When we were walking down the hall, all the security guards were like, oh, you have such beautiful children. And I'm like, thank you. And then, as we're going through the elevator, one of the ladies was saying, because obviously I wasn't the only mom there with her kids, they were saying, it's so great that you brought your children out. It makes the whole place a lot happier, and they were very thankful to see, kids about. And my kids were not necessarily being the greatest. I mean, they're still loud and wanted to run down the hall when it looked empty. But so people do enjoy children. You just gotta, and I mean, you wouldn't think at a courthouse where you're going to go sit, anybody would want children there. I didn't think so. I was surprised when some people said that. I probably looked at them a little crazy, like, okay, are you sure? You say that now.
Right.
But no, they were really happy to see him there. So
yes.
Cool.
I think that's the perfect answer. Take them with you and be a mom.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Read Ezekiel 19:12 through 14 again. What were the results of the mother being plucked from her home? You want to read that?
Yeah.
Ezekiel 19:12
Okay.
through. All right, go for it.
But the vine was plucked up in fury, cast down to the ground. The east wind dried up its fruit. They were stripped off and withered. As for its strong stem, fire consumed it. Now it is planted in the wilderness in a dry and thirsty land. And fire has gone out from the stem of its shoots, has consumed its fruit, so that there remains in it no strong stem, no scepter for ruling. This is a lamentation and has become a lamentation, whatever that means.
My children and I actually looked that up because they said, "What's a lamentation?" And so I got out all these parallel Bibles. One of them actually says a funeral song.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
That I could understand. I figured it was almost like not a prophecy, but something along those lines.
No, they're like crying in a song. It's a sorrowful, like they're just so sad. So sad. Okay, so what were the results of the mother being plucked from her home?
Her fruit was dried up. She's not strong anymore. And there's no scepter for ruling.
And she got thrown in the fire.
And she went in the fire. Yeah, I didn't get it because it's like she got plucked up. It says, you've been plucked up and east wind dried up your fruit and the fire consumed the stem. But then it said now it's planted in the wilderness. And I was like, I don't know how you can be planted in the wilderness. The fire consumed your stem. I was all kinds of lost.
Well, it just got chucked out.
It's bad.
You just
bad.
got...
I hear you. Bad. Fire. Desert. Not good.
Not good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to talk a little for 1 second about the next couple of chapters. The next 3 chapters are actually some of my favorites in this whole book. They all kind of go together. Next week, mothers are influential, and then mothers are nation changers, and then mothers are generation perpetuators. And these are exciting to me. These are the kind of chapters and thoughts that I have about motherhood that actually makes me excited to do my job, because it helps me have a vision of, not of the laundry pile, but of what I'm trying to do here, like big picture. So I'm excited about the next few weeks, and hopefully we get a couple more people on.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
That would be fun.
All right, I'm going to stop recording, and you have a fabulous week.
Yes, thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.